About a decade ago, I taught myself to sew. And, by the end of my sewing journey there, I didn't do too bad. I made myself a few basic pieces. I did pajama pants, I did some t-shirts. The most complex project that I worked on was probably an orca tail blanket, which I still actually have and may get out for this winter. But not too long after I started my sewing journey, my health, both mental and physical, sort of just fell off a cliff, and I didn't really pick it up again after that. It didn't help that about halfway through my recovery journey, I taught myself to crochet, and all crafts sort of fell to the wayside after that. But the last few weeks, I've just really felt this urge to get back into it, to start making myself some clothes again. I am enjoying the challenge of making myself some crochet clothes, but that process is just so much slower. For my first sewing project in almost a decade, or just over a decade, I am going to keep it super simple. I don't need anything complex. I just want to ease myself back on into sewing, see what, if any, of my skills actually remain, and then hopefully slowly build them back up from there. Okay, let's get started. So first things first, I will grab out the fabric that I'm going to need. I will also grab some paper because I'm going to create my own pattern. And because that's the case, I will need a piece or an item of clothing that I can make the pattern from. This fabric I've had for a while. It's got a cool, almost geometric buffalo on it. And I would really like to make myself a jumper from this. If I'm to do that, I need a pattern. And I'm going to go with this jumper of mine. It's sort of a loose, baggy, comfy jumper that is also currently covered in grey cat fur because my cat has decided that the wardrobe is her new bed. And I chose this not only because it's just a comfy jumper that I like how it sits on me, but also it's big and baggy, and I definitely think I'm going to need to give myself a bit of wiggle room here. I don't want to go making anything super form-fitting or that's going to need to adhere to specific measurements right off the bat. And then, of course, I have my paper, and using this I'm going to draw myself out a pattern. I have done this before when I made t-shirts in the past, and even my pajama pants. I did create them by making a pattern from existing clothing, and I'm hoping that will still work in this case. I've got the two pieces. Well, technically I need three pieces, but the front and back are one piece at the moment. So I've got the two pieces that I need. I am not confident diving straight into cutting and piecing together this fabric. I think it's been a decade. I don't know if I've made the pattern here correctly. I really should test it out first. So I'm going to grab just another bit of fabric, something I can use to make a mock-up, and I'm going to put that together. I don't really have a backup, otherwise if I bugger up with this fabric, I don't think I have any others that I can use specifically for a jumper. I'm not too concerned at this point about what is the right side of the fabric, what is the wrong side of the fabric, that sort of stuff. I really just want to see here, A, if my pattern goes together, if I've made that correctly, and B, then if it fits me. Even as I was ironing the pieces, I've already sort of noticed a couple of areas for improvement, but that list may grow longer as I begin piecing this together. not confident I have done the sleeves correctly. I thought they looked, I thought the shape looked a bit weird as I was cutting it out. But I was wondering if it just looked weird to me because I haven't done this in so long. But no, I'm wondering now if I've buggered something up. But I think because this is my test piece, I'll sew one sleeve on anyway and just see how it looks. Well, that's done. I suppose now is the moment of truth. I just try it on and see if it fits. Technically, it fits. It doesn't help that this fabric doesn't have any stretch to it either, whereas the fabric I plan to use does. But yeah, I don't think I got the fit quite right. Look, given that it's been about a decade, like, I don't think I did too bad. But perhaps my skills have diminished to the point where I shouldn't be starting off by trying to make my own pattern. So I think I'm going to try and consult the internet and see if I can find a free jumper pattern on there. And if not, if I can't find one that I like, I think I'll go back to the drawing board with this and just try and workshop this a little bit, because I think the front and the back is okay. The neckline isn't as rounded as it is in the original, so I buggered up the shaping there. But other than that, the front and back are okay. It's just kind of the sleeves where I let myself down. So because my first attempt at this jumper was a bit of a disaster, well, I mean, maybe disaster's going a little bit too far. Let's call it a flop. It was a bit of a flop. I have ditched making my own pattern as of now, and instead I consulted the internet. And after scouring that for a little while, I found a pattern, I printed it out, put it together, and now I have myself these. And now that I have this all cut out and ready to go, I'm going to make my second attempt at a mock-up. Well, this worked out much better than the first one. I can actually move my arms in this one. Yeah, so I do think this is the pattern that I'm going to go with, although I am considering making a couple of minor changes. I know the ribbing isn't attached yet, but even in addition to ribbing, I think I might want to make this jumper a little bit longer, just about, maybe about 5 or so centimeters longer. And the neckline is really square. Again, the ribbing isn't attached yet, but it might just be a little bit more open than I really want this jumper. I want it to be nice and cozy, and this, especially in the cooler winter months now, this does not achieve that goal, I don't think. But apart from that, like, it fits, it's nice and loose and baggy how I wanted it to be. So I guess now I just need to cut out my pattern pieces in the proper fabric. That's always been the scariest part for me, cutting out your good fabric. I tend to worry that it's going to get screwed up and then I won't have any fabric to use. I'm going to need to do a quick recap for myself because I have not touched this project in, I think it's been over 2 months at this point, because a whole bunch of stuff happened that kept me incredibly busy. So, to recap, I made this. Bit of a flop. Then I printed out this, made myself a mock-up, which was this one. And if I remember correctly, I didn't mind that, with the exception of the length. I wanted to make it a little bit longer. And I think I said something about changing the neckline as well. but I don't know if I'm going to worry about that really. And I think that brings us up to speed. So I am going to take my pattern pieces that I've got, and I am now going to cut out my good fabric. I was worried about that when I was doing this all in one hit, and now it's been months and I'm even more worried about it. I think I was right to be concerned about cutting the fabric out wrong, because I did cut some of the fabric out wrong. I cut one of the sleeves out upside down, but luckily I have more than enough fabric, so I just cut out the sleeve again. I was so concerned about getting the sleeve on the fabric whilst conserving as much fabric as possible that I didn't even think about the pattern, so what's done is done. But anyway, I've managed to cut out all my other pieces too. Speaking of my concerns, this fabric is actually, I'm not even sure like what fabric it is. Like all the fabric that's over there in my craft room, like that's all come from my mum. I'm not sure what a lot of it is. I'm not really all that familiar with different kinds of fabric, and the backing on this one, it's almost slippery, I would describe it as. So even though I put some weight on the fabric, it was moving a bit as I was cutting it out. So I am concerned that that's sort of thrown off my pattern a little bit, but I don't think I will know that for sure until I start piecing it together. But before that, I'm going to iron them, I'm going to pin them, and then I'm going to get the sewing machine out. Apparently there's something else I can add to my list of things to be concerned about. I don't think my iron is turning on. No, it's all plugged in. It's on, but the light's not coming on. I just used it the other day. That's annoying. Oh, hang on. We go. But I'm still a bit concerned. I shouldn't be doing that. That's not bad, right? I think I put my camera up a little bit too high. Oh, that's what I get for being short. Yeah, this fabric's actually nice and comfy. It's cozy, nice and warm. I am quite pleased with it so far. Let's hope I don't ruin it all with the ribbing. Speaking of, I have grabbed out this. And yeah, I might do the smart thing and lower my camera first. Yes, I have a whole box that is dedicated to ribbing. Like with all my sewing paraphernalia, like this was my mum's. And I am about 95%, I am 100% certain that I had white ribbing in here. There was one point over the years where I actually had ribbing sets. Maybe that's one of them, but there was a set. It came with like a waistband and cuffs. I don't think it came with a neck. Words. It didn't come with any ribbing for the neckline. All that to say that I am going to have to create my own cuffs out of the ribbing. This is another thing that I have done before, but I'm sort of straining to remember the exact details. I think I took like the measurement of the circumference of where I wanted to add the ribbing and deducted 2 centimeters and then I quarter each piece to sew it on. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how I did that. So if I measure the circumference of this, we'll just fold it in half and then double it, I think. That is 12 centimeters. So if I double that to get the full circumference, that is, let's go cuffs equal 24 centimeters. And then I want to do the same with the waistband. I'm running out of room everywhere. There is so much stuff in this craft / office room at the moment. I feel a little bit claustrophobic and I keep having to shuffle everything around. Okay, let's measure you. All right, so that's 60, 61. So we'll go 120, we'll say 122. Waistband equals 122 centimeters, and then I want the neckline. That will be my last measurement, and this one's going to be a little bit more tricky because the front and the back are different sizes. The neckline at the front is lower than that of the back. Right, I worked out all the measurements for the length of my ribbing pieces. Now I just need to work out what height I want them. And to be honest, I think I'm going to stick with something very similar to the jumper I'm wearing. Let's have a look how wide that is. So that's about 7-8 centimeters. I want to keep my ribbing in line with that, and I think same goes for the ribbing on the waistband. That is roughly the same, about 7-8 centimeters. And then the neckline, obviously want that to be shorter. I mean, I'd estimate that is about 2 centimeters. Let's check that out as well. Let's have a look. Yep, about 2.5. So I'm going to go roughly with the ballpark of those heights with my ribbing for this guy. And now that I have all of that worked out, I just need to cut my ribbing and attach it. And that is literally the last thing I have to do. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. It's only taken 3-4 months. Slight problem. Well, 2 slight problems, really. Number 1, I didn't press record properly when I was cutting out my white ribbing. But that is less problematic than problem number 2, and that is I don't have enough white ribbing. Completely my fault, my bad. I should have checked that before I even started this project, really, but that's what you get for just assuming. So this was what I cut out for the waistband, and this is my neckline, and all I have left is the bit of the end of that, and that is not nearly enough to do 2 cuffs. I've looked through my ribbing box again, and outside of this one dark blue piece that I showed you guys before, I only have some greys, some black, and a bit of pink and green, none of which really work for this project. So I can really do one of 2 things. I could stop here and try and get some more white ribbing, or 2, I could just include dark blue ribbing as part of my project. To be honest, number 1's not really feasible for me at the moment. I'm struggling to even find time to complete these videos in, and going down to the shops to find, the best match of white ribbing is just something I really don't have time for. I could order it online, but A, I run the risk of not color matching properly, and B, it does take a while to get out here, to my house. And I really would like to finish this project ASAP because I've got other stuff I need to work on. So I think we're going to be including a bit of dark blue ribbing in here. I mean, it's going to look a bit silly, but I mean, this is my first project in a decade. Like, I expected some mistakes, maybe not quite to this scale, but I expected some. So what I'm going to do is I think I'll just use this as the waistband ribbing. It is slightly too long, but I will just trim that. I did consider using this for the cuffs instead, but folding it in half it's just a little bit too short, especially because I need to leave my seam allowance to sew the cuffs to the end of the sleeve, and it'll only end up probably about 4 or 5 centimeters tall, and I do want it to be a little bit larger than that. So yeah, this is going to be the waistband instead, and I will just cut the required amount for the cuffs out of the white that was originally supposed to be my waistband. It could look alright. Maybe I'm just being a little bit optimistic. It's probably going to look silly. But I think I'm just going to have to put up with that for now. Bloody hell. Why didn't I check? Why didn't I check beforehand? Stupid. Don't assume things. Don't assume things. I couldn't do it. I've got a level with you guys. I could not do it. The navy waistband on the bottom just looked too stupid. I mean, if the rest of the jumper was very noticeably error-ridden, that would be one thing, but I'm just really thrilled with how this has turned out after not having sewn for so long, that I don't want to go ahead and ruin it by having just a big band of out of place navy blue at the bottom. So I'm going to do my absolute best to get my hands on some white ribbing in the next couple of days. If I don't, I think I'll just have to go ahead and do the outro without it, but then I will add it like in my own time. But yeah, I can't bring myself to do it. I can't bring myself to add the navy blue. We might have to try and squeeze in a quick spotlight visit at some point. I'll have to consult the schedule and do some rearranging, I think. Well, sadly, I did not get the opportunity to stop in at Spotlight to buy myself some more ribbing, so I've had to rely on the internet, but even more sadly, the ribbing that I ordered isn't expected to arrive until mid to late August, and that's just a little bit too long to wait. So we are rocking the raw waistband at the moment, but I will fix that up on my own time. Other than that, loving my jumper. It fits for one. That's always a good thing, but it's super comfy. There are a couple of things I would like to do to improve it. Number one, the collar isn't laying very flat at the moment, but I do believe that's down to me not having ironed it yet. I haven't edited this bit yet, so I don't know if it's included in the video, but my iron was not working very well, and the only setting on which it would work was max, and having the iron on max to iron this synthetic material would just straight up burn it, so I haven't used it. On this. I got away with using it a little bit earlier on some of the parts, but as it continued to heat up, it wasn't worth the risk. I don't want to ruin the jumper that I have made. So certain parts remained unironed as of now, but that is something else I will address at some point. The one other thing that I would have liked to do, and you can't really see this one, it's more of an inside kind of thing, but I do actually have an overlocker. I just wasn't confident enough to use it in this project. So my seams are looking a bit raw and ragged. I would like to clean those up. I think it would just make for a neater finish, but it's on the inside. I'm not too concerned about that right now. And if I hopefully continue on with my sewing, as I, grow more in confidence and ability, I will probably bring in that overlocker. I mean, it's just sitting there. I might as well get some use out of it. Speaking of which, if anyone has any suggestions, video recommendations, or tutorials of any sort on how to use an overlocker properly, what like tension I should be working with, just basic overlocker things. Please put those down in the comments because I will be looking for some of those at some point. And honestly, that goes for any sewing YouTube channels or places you like to get free patterns from as well, because as was demonstrated in this video, I don't think I'm like at the point yet where I can make my own patterns yet. I was there at once a long time ago, but no, I need to build up my skill first, I think. So I'm going to be looking for some more free patterns online. So if you do sewing and there's a place that you like to get your free patterns, please let me know what that is, just sort of to start myself off. But considering how much time has passed since I have sewn, I really like what I achieved with this, ignoring the waistband for now. I mean, we went from this hideous flop to this, which was a pretty significant improvement, and then to this, which is the final form. And what makes me even more pleased about this is a piece that I will wear once I add the waistband, of course, but I will wear this. It is comfy, it fits me well, and I like the design. So that's going to be going into my wardrobe. And that was just my aim with my crochet clothes as well. I want to make things that I'm going to wear on more than just a rare occasion. As much as I like some of the crochet clothing projects I've made in the past, like the mushroom dress, for example, they're just not pieces I would include in my regular clothing rotation. I wouldn't wear them on a daily basis. So I really do want to make clothing that I can just slot into my current wardrobe to wear. That is the goal going forward. I think for my next sewing project, I don't know if that will be a video or not. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing as well, just any more sewing projects. This is always going to be a predominantly crochet channel, but I'm not opposed to involving other crafts on a semi-regular basis. I think actually next what I want to make is a raglan sleeve top, both in terms of looks and in comfort. I've just always enjoyed a good raglan sleeve. Something else I've always enjoyed, and we haven't actually been able to do it for the last couple of weeks, but that is... And today's featured creator on the hookup is CroShayBabies. And she says, I'm a 30-year-old mother of a 1.5-year-old who works 12-hour night shifts. One day back in June 2023, after binging crochet channels, I wrote down a list of supplies and went to Walmart the next morning and then sat for the next couple of weeks just watching tutorials and doing single crochets over and over. The first thing I ever made was a very ugly and wonky mushroom I have since lost. After crocheting for about 2 to 3 months, my co-workers and fiance convinced me to start selling works. Even though I didn't think I was that good, with their belief in me and my fiance's help, I started doing markets again. What started as something to keep busy and kill downtime turned into something I'm very passionate about and love doing. I make amigurumi mostly, but have started trying to venture into clothing and other crochet projects. That line, that reflects my crochet journey as well. I started making amigurumi, did that exclusively for about 3 or 4 years, and then started getting into other crochet subgenres like clothing and granny squares. And I've been loving it. And from the sounds of it, so has CroShayBabies. So if you would like to check out all of CroShayBabies' links, they will be listed in the description, and so will a link to the hookup form if you would like to apply for yourself. That's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts on my very awesome jumper, and also if you'd like to see any other, I don't know, sewing projects in the future. Thank you very much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Share it if you think it's worth sharing, and I will see you in the next one.